Do you think online sports betting is the same as gambling?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah?
It's costing you money, and if you lose that money.
I think just like having some general knowledge in sports betting is
Yeah.
going to help you. Gambling is just flipping a coin.
Do you feel like it makes your experience watching the sport better or worse?
I feel like it makes it a little bit more better because you have at least someone that you want to win.
I generally try not to bet on things or teams that I care about because
Really?
yeah, it makes it way more stressful.
It makes it more exciting, for sure.
More
And it could-
exciting.
Yeah, and it could take a game of two teams that you don't give two about, and you actually care about that game. It makes it more intense, right? I can't handle that anxiety. I can't handle that intensity, so that's why I'm like, no, not
You're
betting.
like, no.
No.
What do you think the impact is on my generation?
I mean, like the allure of making easy money. I think it's like people are growing up with all this stuff available. I worry about younger kids.
Do you feel like it influences my generation to think like this could actually be a way to pay the bills?
For sure, because when you do win, $50 turns into 200 or 300.
Yeah.
You're like, that was easy.
Dopamine hit.
How do you think that's concerning for our generation? Do you feel like we're more prone to that?
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I wouldn't say that we suffer from it.
It's instant gratification. Like, it's 100%, it's addicting.
Once you have a big night of losing, you can compound that if you start chasing it, dump off like a week's pay or like their money for school or whatever, their grocery money. It can go quick.
A lot of people see online sports betting as a non-issue, as long as you keep yourself in check. But does it significantly impact our experience of watching the sport? Kevin, I'm curious, what do you think?
Oh, it 100% does.
Better?
Yes.
Like, the adrenaline is fuming?
Yep. Like, I don't know, you're a big football fan, right? Have you been paying attention first 5 minutes of the game? Trying to see whoever scores the first touchdown first?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. If you bet,
You can bet on like every little
Yeah.
thing.
yeah,
If you bet on, okay, I see what you're saying, is
Yeah.
you'll watch the first 5 minutes if you bet on who scores a touchdown first.
yeah, it gives more exciting, so much better.
Ryan gets it.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Like it's just so much more engaging, so much more fun. So all randomly with friends, it's so much better when you bet on the same thing, especially a wild underdog. I throw like $5 on some guy in the UFC that's not expected to win.
Yeah, because you do a lot of UFC games.
Yeah, so when he gets knocked out in like 5 seconds, it's like, oh my God.
But you do it all together.
Yeah, and it just leads to much more of a laugh and it's fun.
I'm curious, Ruth, do you think online sports betting is more or less addicting than gambling?
I think that if a person is inclined to become addicted to one of those things, they're probably equal.
Okay.
I think that some
But you don't think that, like, I feel like some people think they could actually have a better chance of winning in online sports betting because they know the sport.
Yeah, that could be true. So, but I still think that some people are just more inclined to be addicted to something like that
Right.
and to let it get to a point where it negatively impacts them. And I think that that's like percentage-wise probably equal.
They equal out.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, what do you think?
I feel like if so let's say there's a guy put a sports bet, like makes a sports bet, whatever, parlay, single bet, whatever, wins that money, and there's a guy who bets on a roulette, and let's say he hits both the guys hits, and then there's the
Like,
guys
if
hits.
both hit,
Yeah, if both hit, it's probably the same impact that they're both probably going to get, whether they win or whether they lose. And especially a lot of people put casino app, like on their sports betting app, there's always casino.
I don't know. I think the perception. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I think it's a lot more addicting actual gambling because of the time delay. So when you bet for sports betting, you're betting a parlay, you got to wait for the games to finish, whatever. Like you don't get that instant gratification. Once it pays off, for sure, you get the same, as you were saying, the same kind of hit. But if you're just, okay, throw it on black, spin the wheel, done. Okay, I'll just keep betting. I'll just keep going. I'll keep going.
Do you guys feel like part of what scares me is that the losses in online sports betting, I know myself, I would be too emotional. I don't know. Like I couldn't control my emotions. So that's like, I don't do it. I don't know. Is that different than, like, that obviously impacts a little bit, no?
I feel like depends on how much you put it and depends how much risk taking you're taking. Because like,
should I bet what I'm only willing to lose?
Yes. For me, most of the money I probably bet on was $100. And I would never put it on a parlay or anything like that because it's more risk taking, right? So if I have maybe like a good stats that I know, it's like, for example, like a couple of years ago when Leafs never made it out of the first round, I put the money on Tampa Bay because he never made it out of the first round, got it. And that's like, oh, I'm so sure that they're probably going to win it. With that little bit of confidence, it's just be like, oh, with that confidence, just put in the money in and see how it goes.
Okay, I see. Okay, we'll get into a little bit more in the next segment. But when we come back, does sports betting have any impact on the integrity of the sport itself? I have some interesting points here, so let's see.
I'ma rule the world, yeah.